Keanu Reeves stood at the edge of a small park in downtown Los Angeles, quietly sipping a black coffee from a paper cup. The wind was soft that morning. It brushed his face like a memory. Behind his sunglasses, his eyes were tired, but not empty. He had lived 1,000 lives in silence since she died. Her name was Jennifer. She was his everything. Her laugh was music. Her presence had been light. Years had passed since the accident, but he still wore his wedding ring. He didn't need anyone to see it. It wasn't for them. It was for him, for her. He came to this park every Sunday morning, not because it was beautiful, not because it was peaceful, but because this was where he and Jennifer had shared their last walk. They had laughed about squirrels chasing each other and argued about the best kind of tea. It was ordinary, but to Keanu, it was gold dot as he sat on the worn bench. Something caught his eye across the street near the intersection. A woman in a wedding dress stumbled barefoot onto the sidewalk. Her hair was a mess. Her veil was torn. She looked lost. People stopped. Some pointed. Some laughed. One man pulled out his phone to record. Nobody moved to help. Keanu stood up. His heart pulled him before his feet could think. He crossed the street without a word. The woman had fallen to her knees beside a fire hydrant. She was breathing hard. Tears streaked down her makeup. She looked up, and their eyes met. She was young, maybe in her late 20s. Her lips trembled. I didn't know where else to go," she whispered. Keanu knelt beside her. "It's okay. You're safe now." Someone across the street laughed. "Looks like a movie scene." But Keanu didn't look back. His voice stayed calm. "Can you stand?" The woman nodded slowly. He helped her up. Her dress was muddy. Her hands were shaking. "My name is Keanu," he said softly. "What's your name?" "Lila," she said, barely audible. "Lila Monroe. Do you need help?" She hesitated, then nodded again, this time more desperate. Keanu didn't ask more. He took off his coat and wrapped it around her shoulders. He guided her across the street, away from the staring eyes. They walked slowly to his old black motorcycle parked near a cafe. "I don't have a helmet for you," he said gently, "but I live nearby. We'll go slow, I promise." She looked at the motorcycle, then at him. "I don't care. I just can't be here anymore." They rode through quiet streets. Her arms were wrapped around his waist, her body trembling from the cold and fear. He could feel it, like holding onto someone running from a nightmare. At his home, a small, simple place nestled between trees, he led her inside. The lights were warm. Books filled every shelf. A soft couch and a piano sat near the window. Lila sat down slowly. "Would you like tea or water?" Keanu asked. "Tea," she whispered. "Please." He went to the kitchen. She stared at the room. It was quiet, too quiet. "You live alone?" she asked. "Yes, your wife." He paused, then placed the teacup in front of her. "She passed away," he said. Lyla lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry." "Me too," he replied softly. For a moment, silence wrapped around them both like a blanket. Shared pain doesn't need many words. After a few minutes, Keanu sat beside her on the couch. He didn't push her to speak. He just waited. Finally, Lila looked at him. "I ran away from my wedding." Keanu nodded, encouraging her to go on. "I was about to marry a man my parents chose, rich, powerful, cold. It was all about image. Business, not love, not kindness. They said love is a fairy tale. But I believe in kindness. I believe in real." Tears rolled down her cheeks again. "I tried to fight it. I tried to be strong. But this morning, as I stood at the altar, something inside me broke. I just ran." Keanu looked at her with gentle eyes. "That was brave." She let out a bitter laugh. "It doesn't feel brave. It feels stupid and selfish." "No," he said. "It feels like truth." She looked at him, her eyes searching his face. "Why are you helping me?" "Because someone once helped me when I was lost," he said. "And because the world needs more kindness." Lila covered her mouth, trying not to cry again. He gave her a blanket. "You can rest here tonight. No pressure, no questions, no judgment." She curled up on the couch, holding the teacup close. He turned off the lights and sat nearby, playing soft notes on the piano. Music floated through the room like a lullaby. By the time she fell asleep, her breathing had slowed. Her face was softer. Her guard was down. Keanu sat there in the dim light, watching the quiet rise and fall of a stranger's chest. And for the first time in years, something stirred in his heart. Not romance, not attraction, something deeper. Hope. A reason to be kind again. Outside, the wind carried away the old day, and inside, two broken souls found silence together. They didn't know it yet, but this was only the beginning. The world would soon know who Lila really was, and Keanu would have to face his past in a way he never imagined. But for now, all that mattered was the sound of breathing, the warmth of tea, and the whisper of music in the dark. The sun rose slowly over the hills of Los Angeles, casting a golden light through the trees outside Keanu's window. Inside, the house remained quiet, peaceful, the kind of silence that holds its breath. Keanu Reeves stood in the kitchen, barefoot, stirring oatmeal. He glanced toward the couch. Lila was still asleep, her face soft, her wedding dress wrinkled and tangled under the blanket. Her veil lay on the coffee table like a forgotten memory. He made 2 cups of coffee, one black, one with a little sugar, in case she preferred it sweet. He didn't know why he cared about the sugar, but somehow it mattered. She stirred slowly, opened her eyes, blinked. For a moment, she looked lost. Then her eyes met his, and something shifted. Morning, he said softly, handing her the cup. Thank you, she whispered, wrapping her fingers around the warmth. I made oatmeal, he said. I can make something else if you want. Oatmeal's perfect, she said, voice still quiet. As they sat together at the small wooden table, she looked down at her dress. I probably look crazy, she said. Keanu shook his head. You look like someone who made a hard choice, she smiled. Faintly, do you always say the right thing? He smiled too, but his eyes stayed sad. Not always. Sometimes I say nothing at all. They ate in silence for a few moments. Then Lila spoke again. I should probably go soon. You can stay as long as you need, Keanu said. She hesitated. What will people think? I mean, a stranger in your house, in a wedding dress. People think all kinds of things, he said. Doesn't mean they're right. Still, she said, setting down her spoon. Thank you for last night. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't helped me. You needed help. That's enough. She stood, walked to the window, and looked out. I haven't told anyone, not even my best friend. They're probably all still at the church, waiting, calling me, or angry. Do you want to talk to someone? She shook her head. Not yet. He nodded. You're safe here when you're ready. You can face them. She turned to him. Her voice trembled. But what if I don't want to go back at all? Then don't. Keanu said. Start over. Find your path. Easy to say, harder to do when your life's built around other people's plans. Keanu walked to the piano, ran his fingers over the keys. My wife used to say, you only get one life, and it's yours, not theirs. Lila looked at him, eyes wet. You really loved her. Still do. He said. Do you think it's possible to love again? She asked quietly. Keanu looked up from the piano. I think love never ends. It just changes shape. The moment hung between them. Then Lila laughed softly. You're like some wise monk with a motorcycle. I just listen more than I talk, he said, smiling. But that peace didn't last long. By noon, the outside world began knocking. Literally. A sharp knock at the door startled them both. Keanu moved calmly, opening the door just enough to see. Two men in black suits stood there, clean haircuts, stern faces. Mr. Reeves, one said. Yes, we're looking for Lila Monroe. Is she here? Before Keanu could answer, Lila stepped forward behind him. It's okay, she said softly. They work for my father. The men looked past Keanu. One of them pulled out a phone. Your father wants you home. Now. I'm not going back, she said. This isn't a request, the taller man said, stepping forward. Keanu's single quotes as tone changed. Not loud, not angry, just firm. She's not going anywhere unless she chooses to. The man laughed slightly. Do you know who her father is? Doesn't matter. Keanu said. What matters is her choice. The man raised an eyebrow. This isn't your concern. Mr. Reeves, Keanu stepped out onto the porch. Still calm, still steady. Actually, it is now. There was a moment of silence. Then the men backed off slightly. "We'll be back," one of them said, "with legal action if needed." They left. Lyla collapsed onto the steps, breathing hard. "That was them," she said. "His people, my father's people. They never stop." Keanu sat beside her. "You can fight them, if that's what you want." She looked at him, really looked. "You don't even know me. Why are you doing this?" "Because someone once gave me a second chance when I didn't deserve it. And because helping someone find freedom is never the wrong thing." She bit her lip. "They won't stop. My father built half the city. He's used to control, and I just embarrassed him." "Then maybe it's time someone stood up to him," Keanu said. "I can't fight him alone." "You're not alone anymore," he said. Her eyes filled again. Not just with tears, but something else. Hope. For the first time, she felt it. Keanu helped her to her feet. "We'll figure this out together," he said. "But first, let's get you out of that dress." She laughed. "Thank you. Seriously." He led her inside, gave her one of Jennifer's old robes, soft, cotton, warm. "It fits," she said. "She would have liked you," Keanu replied. The day passed slowly. They talked. They sat on the porch. She told him about her dreams before her life was shaped by business deals and family legacies. She wanted to be a teacher once, to work with children, to build something that mattered. "Then do it," Keanu said. "Dreams don't expire. They just wait." As the sun dipped low, a black car drove by the house slowly. Lila tensed. "They're watching," she said. Keanu nodded. "Then let them watch. They'll see a woman who found her voice." And inside, Keanu made a quiet promise. He would protect her, not because she was broken, but because she was strong. And maybe, just maybe, helping her would help him heal too. The next morning, Lila stood in front of the bathroom mirror wearing one of Jennifer's oversized flannel shirts. Her hair was tied loosely, her face fresh without makeup. She barely recognized the woman staring back at her. No diamond necklace, no forced smile, no suffocating expectations. Just her. She walked out into the living room where Keanu was already awake, sitting on the floor doing slow stretches. He moved like water, calm, present. "You stretch every day?" she asked. "I try to," he said, standing up with a small grin. "It helps the mind stay quiet." "How do you keep your mind quiet when people are after you?" He looked out the window for a moment, then said, "You listen to the part of yourself that still whispers when the world is screaming." She let that sink in. Breakfast was simple: toast, scrambled eggs, and berries he had picked up early that morning. While she slept, "I want to go outside today," she said between bites. "Just walk. Feel normal again." "Then we'll walk," Keanu said, like it was the easiest thing in the world. They drove out to a coastal path not far from Malibu. The air smelled like salt and freedom. Gulls flew overhead, calling to the waves. Lila breathed it in deeply. They walked slowly, side by side. No cameras, no reporters. Just the crunch of gravel under their shoes. "Do you miss being famous?" she asked. He smiled faintly. "I don't think I ever wanted to be famous. I wanted to tell stories. Fame just showed up uninvited." "I grew up with fame," she said, "but it never felt like mine. It was always about my last name, my father's empire, his image, his shadow. Maybe it's time you stepped into your own light." She looked at him, deeply moved. "You say things like that so easily." "Maybe because I've been in the dark," he said. They stopped near a bench overlooking the ocean. She sat down, pulled her knees to her chest. "When I was little, I used to sneak out at night and lie on the tennis court," she said. "Stare up at the stars and imagine running away. No big house, no pressure, just a little bookstore somewhere. And a cat." Keanu chuckled. "That sounds perfect." "It does, doesn't it?" Just then, her phone buzzed. She had turned it on for the first time in 2 days. Dozens of missed calls, hundreds of texts, and one message stood out. It was a photo of Keanu's house, taken from across the street. She handed the phone to him. His jaw clenched slightly. "They're getting closer." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm dragging you into this mess." "You didn't drag me," he said. "I walked in. with my eyes open, but they'll try to ruin you too. He looked out at the sea. They can try. On the drive home, they passed a billboard with her face on it. Her father had started a smear campaign. The sign read, "Missing bride. Mental health concerns. Contact authorities immediately." Lila's hands began to shake. "They're going to paint me as crazy. Then we tell the truth before they finish the lie," Keanu said. "How?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he took a turn and drove toward a quiet film studio lot he had access to. They walked inside a small sound stage. It was empty except for a few lights and a camera. "We tell your story. In your own words, your voice, your truth. On camera, yes," he said gently. "People know me. They trust me. If we share this the right way, they'll listen. And if it backfires, then we go to plan B." "What's plan B?" "We disappear." She laughed through the fear. "You're serious, aren't you?" "Completely." She stood there a moment, then nodded. "Okay, let's do it." He adjusted the camera, set it to record. Then he sat beside her. Not in front of her, beside her. So she wouldn't feel alone. The light blinked red, and Lila spoke. "My name is Lila Monroe, and 2 days ago, I ran away from a wedding that wasn't mine." Her voice trembled at first, but then grew stronger. "I was raised in a house where money meant more than love, where silence was rewarded and honesty was punished. My father chose my fiancée. He called it a partnership, but it felt more like a transaction." She paused. "I didn't run because I'm weak. I ran because I finally found my strength." Her eyes glistened. "The man helping me right now, Keanu Reeves, didn't ask for any of this. He just saw someone hurting and offered kindness. I don't know where this story ends, but I know where it begins, with truth." Keanu ended the recording. They sat in silence for a long time. Then he said, "You did good." "I'm scared," she whispered. "Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do it anyway." They uploaded the video to a private channel. Within hours, it was shared by fans, and then by news outlets. It went viral overnight. People commented in waves. "She's so brave. Keanu is a real one. Let her live her life by morning." The narrative had shifted. The next knock on their door was not from men in suits. It was from a lawyer. "My name is Daniel Chow," the man said. "Lila, your mother asked me to find you. Privately." "She wants to help my mother?" Lila asked, stunned. "She never stands up to him. She is now." Daniel said, "She's been watching the video on loop. She says she's sorry. She wants you to know. She saw you for the first time." Tears welled up in Lila's eyes. "Can I talk to her? She's waiting on the line." Keanu handed her the phone. Her voice cracked. "Mom." The words on the other end were soft, broken, sincere. "Baby, I'm sorry. I should have protected you. I'm proud of you." Lila collapsed into the couch, crying openly now. Keanu sat beside her, held her hand. The lawyer spoke again. "Your father is furious, but the board of his company is starting to ask questions. They don't like the attention. He's losing control." "Good," Lila whispered. "You may have a chance to walk away clean, but you'll need to make a public statement, and there will be backlash." "I can handle backlash," she said. "I just want to be free." Keanu looked at her with quiet pride. "You already are." That night, as the stars came out, Keanu and Lila sat under the porch light, sipping tea. She looked over at him. "Do you believe in fate?" "I believe in choices," he said, "and I believe we're here now because you made a brave one. I think your wife would have liked me." He smiled softly. "She would have loved you." And for the first time in years, Keanu felt something new take root. Not love. Not yet. But the beginning of something. Something true. Something possible. The morning after the video went viral, Keanu woke to the sound of birdsong and the quiet hum of a car engine outside. He stepped into the hallway, found Lila curled up on the couch, her phone still in her hand, face peaceful in sleep. The sunlight kissed her cheeks. He moved quietly to the front window and saw a black car parked across the street. Not her father's usual vehicle. This one was different. Tinted windows, still, waiting. Keanu didn't panic. He just made coffee. Lila stirred minutes later, blinking. "How long did I sleep?" 12 hours, he said softly. You needed it. She sat up slowly. I had a dream. Jennifer was in it. Your wife? She was smiling at me. Keanu looked at her with surprise. What did she say? She said, "Tell him it's okay to breathe again." Keanu turned away, eyes wet. She always knew how to say things like that. Lila stood and walked toward him. She touched his arm gently. Maybe she's still saying them. They sat together at the kitchen table, reading the headlines. Runaway bride speaks out. Millions support her truth. Keanu Reeves helps rescue heiress. From toxic marriage. Monroe Empire faces corporate backlash after viral confession. Lila scrolled through the comments. Some were cruel, most were kind. But one comment stopped her cold. It read, "You think this is over?" He never lets go. Her hands shook slightly. He's watching everything. Then let him, Keanu said. Truth makes people like him panic. But what if he takes it further? He's capable of anything. Keanu paused, then stood up and walked to the old bookshelf in the corner. He pulled out a thick black folder and laid it in front of her. "What's this?" "Backup plans," he said. "Before Jennifer passed, we started a project. It was a foundation to help women get out of high-control families and relationships. We never launched it. I didn't have the strength. Maybe now's the time." Lila opened the folder. Photos, legal documents, early plans, names of people in need. "You want to start it now? With me, no," he said. "I want you to lead it. It's your story that lit the fire. Let it change more lives than just yours." She stared at him in disbelief. "I'm not qualified." "You are," he said, "because you survived it. And because you care." Her throat tightened. "Do you think this will stop him?" "No," Keanu said. "But it will make him smaller." They worked together all day, drafting a public mission, creating a page, calling lawyers, reaching out to Jennifer's old friends who once pledged to help. By evening, they launched it. The Phoenix Project. A name Keanu chose long ago, because he believed people could rise from ashes. Within hours, the donations started pouring in. Celebrities shared it, advocates promoted it. Even strangers from other countries sent messages of support. Lila stared at the screen, overwhelmed. "This is real," she whispered. "This is actually happening." "You made it real," Keanu said. A soft knock came at the door just after midnight. Keanu opened it slowly, cautious. On the other side stood a woman in her 50s, elegant, eyes tired. Double quotes, "Mom," Lila whispered, stepping forward. "May I come in?" The woman asked, voice shaking. Keanu stepped aside. Lila and her mother embraced tightly, the kind of hug that held years of silence and pain. "I'm sorry," her mother whispered. "I let him control everything. I thought I was protecting you. But I see now. I was just afraid." Lila nodded through tears. "I was afraid too." They sat together, drinking warm tea. Keanu gave them space, stepping out to the porch. After an hour, her mother joined him. "Thank you," she said quietly. "I didn't do much. You did what none of us had the courage to do. You stood by her, even when it cost you." Keanu looked out into the darkness. "It hasn't cost me. It's reminded me who I am." "My husband is furious," she said. "He's threatening lawsuits, smearing Lila's name in secret boardrooms. But people are starting to walk away from him. His image is cracked now. He did that to himself." "Yes," she said, "and he's going to make one last move. Something big, dangerous. Then we'll be ready." She looked at him. "Are you willing to go all the way for her?" "I already have," Keanu said simply. The next day, Lila went live on a major news channel. No makeup, no designer dress. Just her. Honest, brave. She spoke about the foundation, her journey, and how silence nearly destroyed her. Millions watched, and her father did too. That evening, as Keanu and Lila sat by the fire pit in the backyard, her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered carefully. "Put it on speaker." A cold voice said, "You've made your point. Now take it down." "No," Lila said. "You think the world cares about your little speech. The world forgets." "Maybe," she replied. "But I won't. You're walking away from everything. I'm walking towards something better. You'll regret this. Not more than I regret staying silent for so long." The line went dead. Keanu looked at her. "You handled that like a warrior. I feel like a scared child." Maybe those two things live in the same heart, he said as the flames danced between them. Lila turned to him. Do you ever think Jennifer sent me every day? He whispered. Do you think she'd be okay with us? Keanu looked up at the stars, then back at her. Jennifer believed in light, in second chances. I think she'd be smiling right now. Lila reached for his hand. He didn't pull away. They sat like that for a long time. And somewhere deep inside them both, something began to bloom. It wasn't love. Not yet. But it was growing. And it was real. But peace, as always, doesn't last forever. Because the next morning, the black car outside was gone. And the front window of Keanu's house was shattered. Inside, a note lay on the floor. Scrawled in bold red letters. You should have stayed out of it. The shattered glass crunched under Keanu's boots as he stepped into the living room. Sunlight poured through the broken window. The silence inside the house was heavy, still, like the air had stopped breathing. Lila stood frozen at the doorway, eyes wide, one hand over her chest. The note lay on the floor, its red ink bleeding into the wood. You should have stayed out of it. Keanu picked it up slowly, read it once, then folded it without a word. He sent someone, Lila whispered, barely audible. He really did it. Keanu nodded. And this is how people like him work. Scare you into silence. Are you scared? I was, a long time ago, he said. But fear can't live where purpose grows. Lila looked at him with trembling eyes. But I brought this to you. You didn't ask for any of this. Maybe not, he said. But I needed it. They spent the morning cleaning the glass, boarding the window, and filing a police report. The officer recognized Keanu but said little. Just took notes quietly. This was likely a warning, the officer said. No fingerprints, no cameras picked anything up. Professional job. We know who it is, Keanu said. Knowing isn't the same as proving, the officer replied. Lila's hands shook as she poured tea later. Keanu sat beside her. We don't back down now, he said. But he's escalating. So do we, Keanu said. Not with violence, with truth. Lila nodded slowly. Then we tell them everything, every ugly thing. That afternoon, she did a second live video. This time, she named names. She spoke about the contracts, the threats, the manipulation. She exposed the fake charities her father used for tax fraud. The companies built on silence and fear, she told. Stories of women buried under his control, of voices shut down for decades. She had receipts, records, emails. And the world listened. Within hours, reporters camped outside her father's corporate tower. News vans circled his mansion. Employees resigned in waves. Board members issued public statements demanding investigation. Keanu sat back, watching it all unfold with quiet strength. This is what happens, he said, when you shine a light in a dark room. The cockroaches scatter. Lila turned to him. Why does it still hurt? Because it came from someone who was supposed to love you. Her eyes filled. I don't know what love is anymore. Keanu paused. Then let me show you. Not with words, not with grand gestures, just with the small things. And that evening, he did. He made her laugh for the first time in days by burning the toast and blaming the toaster. He taught her how to ride his motorcycle in an empty parking lot. She screamed and laughed and nearly crashed into a bush. They sat under the stars and read old poetry books Jennifer once loved. And when she fell asleep on the couch again, Keanu placed a soft blanket over her and whispered into the quiet, You are safe, you are loved, even if you don't know it yet. But safety is always tested. The next day, while Keanu was out getting supplies, Lila received a call. A young woman's voice said, I used to work for your father. In the back office, I saw your video. I have proof, but he's looking for me. I don't know who else to trust. Where are you? Lila asked. A bus stop, downtown. Corner of 3rd and Mayfield. Stay there. I'll come to you. Lila left a note for Keanu and grabbed his spare keys. She drove his Jeep through city traffic, heart pounding, checking her mirrors every few minutes. She found the woman early 20s. Hoodie pulled up, clutching a folder. I'm Elena, the girl said. This has everything. Bank transfers, fake donations, hidden accounts. I kept copies just in case. "You're brave," Lila said. "No," Elena whispered. "I was scared, but you made me feel brave." Just then, a black SUV pulled up across the street. Lila's blood froze. Elena panicked. "That's his guy, get." In the car, Lila shouted. They ran. Tires squealed behind them. Lyla drove fast, weaving through traffic. Her hands gripped the wheel, heart racing. The SUV followed for several blocks, but she lost it by turning into an underground parking garage and cutting the lights. They sat in silence, breathing hard. "You okay?" Lila asked. "Yeah," Elena said, shaking. "I think so." They waited another 10 minutes before returning to Keanu's house. When Keanu saw them, his face went from worry to steel in seconds. "Are you hurt?" he asked. "No, but we have something," Lila said, handing him the folder. Keanu opened it and read quickly. "This is enough to open a federal case," he said. They scanned it all, sent it to a trusted legal team working on the Phoenix Project. Within hours, subpoenas were drafted. Investigations launched. That night, as Lila and Keanu sat under the porch light, Elena safe inside, Lila leaned her head on his shoulder. "I think I found my voice," she said. "I think the whole world just heard it," Keanu replied. She turned to him. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "When Jennifer died, did you feel like something inside you died too?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, like the world lost color. And now," he looked at her, really looked. "Now I see color again." She touched his hand. He didn't let go. And in that quiet, something unspoken passed between them. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't loud. But it was real. And somewhere in the darkness, a man with too much power watched his empire begin to crumble. But he wasn't finished. Not yet, because the next morning, a package arrived on Keanu's doorstep. Small. No return address. Inside was a single photo. Of Keanu, standing next to Lyla.Crosshairs drawn in red across his chest. Keanu stared at the photo in silence. Lyla stood behind him, her heart in her throat. "What is it?" she asked, voice barely a whisper. He turned and showed her the picture. Her knees buckled slightly. She grabbed the edge of the table. "No," she said. "This has gone too far." Keanu placed the photo face down on the counter. "We don't panic," he said calmly. "He put a target on your back," Lila cried. "This isn't a threat. It's a warning." "I know," Keanu said. "But you and Elena are safe. That's what matters now." "No," she said. "Not if you're in danger. Not because of me." Keanu looked at her gently. "You're not the reason this happened. The truth is, and truth is worth protecting." The house felt smaller that morning, tighter, like the walls knew something heavy was coming. Keanu contacted a private security firm, old friends from his film days who once worked in protection. 2 of them arrived within the hour, quiet, sharp, professional. They swept the house, checked the perimeter, and installed cameras. No trace of tampering, just the package at the door, left like a ghost. "They're watching," one of them said, "but we're watching back now." Elena stayed hidden in a secure apartment nearby, protected and under a false name. Lila wanted to speak out again, but Keanu said, "Not yet. Not until we're ready." For 3 days, they stayed quiet, planned, built, gathered more evidence. Keanu contacted a trusted journalist, someone Jennifer once admired, a woman named Claire, who had spent her career exposing powerful corruption. Claire met them at a quiet beachside cafe. "I've read everything," Claire said. "This could bring him down, but it's dangerous. He'll try to bury this before it reaches the courts. Then we go public." Lila said, "All the way, no more hiding, no more fear." Keanu nodded. "We've got one shot to do this right." They agreed to do a televised interview, national coverage, prime time. Claire would ask the questions, Lila would answer them, and this time, the world would see everything: the financial proof, the testimonies, the photo with the red crosshairs. When the day came, Lila sat in the makeup chair, trembling. "You don't have to do this," Keanu said softly. "I do," she replied. "Because if I don't, someone else might not live to tell their truth." The studio lights were bright, the room quiet. Cameras rolling. Claire leaned forward. "Lila, are you afraid?" "Yes," Lila said honestly, but not of him, not anymore. I'm afraid of going back to silence. She told her full story. From the wedding escape to the threats, she showed the photo, the documents, the evidence. And when Claire asked why she kept going, Lila said, "Because Keanu taught me that helping someone find their voice is never the wrong thing." When the interview ended, the studio went quiet. Then the phones lit up. Millions watched. Trending worldwide. Support poured in from activists, politicians, survivors. And then, an arrest warrant was issued. For her father, charges, fraud, coercion, blackmail, intimidation, and conspiracy. When the news broke, Lila dropped to her knees. Keanu caught her before she fell completely. "You did it," he whispered. "You broke the chain." "We did it," she cried, holding him. Her father was taken into custody that night. The photo in the package became key evidence. Elena's testimony sealed the case, and the Phoenix Project, it exploded overnight. Thousands joined. Donations reached millions. Survivors around the world began to share their own stories, inspired by one woman who dared to run from an altar and speak up. Weeks passed. Keanu's window was repaired. The fear slowly faded, and in its place, something new began. One evening, under the same porch light where so many silent moments had passed, Keanu and Lila sat sipping tea. She wore a soft white sweater. He wore his usual black. "Do you ever wonder why we met the way we did?" she asked. "All the time." He said, "Do you ever feel like maybe Jennifer sent me, not just to heal me, but to heal you?" He didn't answer for a long moment. Then said, "Maybe she sent us to each other." They looked at one another for a long time, eyes soft, hearts open. "Can I tell you something?" Lila said. "Always. I think I'm falling in love with you." Keanu smiled gently. "Then we're both in trouble, because I've already fallen." She leaned in, not fast, not desperate. Just honest. And kissed him. A quiet, soft, beautiful kiss under the stars. They didn't need promises. They didn't need forever. They just needed now. A now full of truth, of healing, of rising from ashes. Two souls who had known silence, who had known pain, now choosing each other, not to replace what was lost, but to honor what was found. A month later, Keanu walked beside Lila into the first Phoenix Center built. In her name. Walls painted with hope. Rooms filled with laughter. And a photo of Jennifer hung in the hallway with a plaque below it that read, "For those who light the way when others forget how to shine." The world didn't forget Lila. She had become more than a story. She had become a spark. And Keanu, he had become whole again. Not because he saved her, but because she reminded him that even the most broken hearts can still beat again.